Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we are really getting into a huge topic for design and research professionals. It's what the industry's been calling the UX reckoning.
Mm-hmm. It's this really profound shift, isn't it? How we actually do UX in 2025, now that AI is less of a concept and more like a co-pilot right beside us.
Exactly. And it feels like a necessary step up, but maybe not an easy one. I mean, the source that we looked at showed 2024 was rough.
Oh, definitely. It felt like the bottom fell out for a bit. UX job postings, they dropped to something like 70% of what they were back in, 2021?
Yeah, that number really makes you stop and think. And the initial reaction was pretty much panic, right? Is AI coming for our jobs?
That was the big fear. But the goal for us today in this deep dive is to kind of cut through that noise, that panic, and focus on what AI actually offers strategically.
Right, because what we're seeing play out isn't really the end of UX. It feels more like the field is splitting, maybe.
I think that's a good way to put it. AI is getting really good at automating that middle stuff, the repetitive tasks, the deliverables we used to spend so much time on.
Which forces a choice.
It does. Every UX pro now has to decide, are you going to be the super fast technician who masters all these new tools? Or do you move up, become that deeper, more strategic thinker?
So the conversation's shifted. It's less, will we survive? And more, how do we use this stuff smartly?
Precisely. How do we optimize workflows, boost creativity, think ethically, and actually focus on outcomes, measurable results, instead of just, churning out wireframes?
The bar's definitely rising. It demands real strategic skill.
Okay, so let's unpack that. Where do we start? Maybe with the tools themselves, the hands-on stuff.
Makes sense. And you have to start with Figma, right? It's still the core for UI design, especially when you need things to scale.
But it's not just Figma itself anymore.
No, not at all. The ecosystem around it is the game changer now. It's less about manually drawing every shape and more about, well, prompting an interface, guiding it into existence. That text-to-design capability is pretty mind-blowing when you see it. You could just type a prompt like create a mobile login screen, make it responsive, add a dark mode switch.
And boom, you get a structured first draft instantly. It just kills that whole blank canvas problem.
Yeah, gets you moving fast.
And that speed is getting built right in. You've got AI features, plugins, like Magician is one people talk about, right inside Figma. It spits out UI text, icons, different design variations. It just compresses that early iteration time like crazy.
Okay, so Figma's handling the core workflow better. But what about tools specifically for that very beginning stage? The messy ideation part.
Yeah, there's a whole category emerging just for that speed boost. Like UX Pilot AI comes up a lot. Seems like a strong all-rounder for quickly getting wireframes, mapping out UI flows, even getting some initial research ideas going just by typing what you need.
Wow. So a team could potentially go from just an idea to something they can actually review, maybe in just an afternoon.
That's the promise, yeah. And then there's Uzerd, which is maybe even faster for just getting ideas down.
How does that one work?
It's cool. It can take a photo of a hand-drawn sketch, like off a whiteboard or just a text prompt, and turn it into a pretty clean digital UI in minutes.
So it bridges that gap between scribbling on a napkin and getting it into the design file.
Exactly. Just removes that friction.
And this efficiency, it must be spilling over into things like asset creation too, right? And maybe even the handoff to developers.
Oh, totally. It's all about making the whole pipeline smoother.
Right.
You've got generative AI, like Adobe Firefly, becoming standard for assets. Need to tweak a texture, fill a background. It's almost instant now in tools like Photoshop.
Right.
And then for the dev handoff, tools like Fronty or Sketch 2 Code are starting to take those final designs and generate basic HTML, CSS. It's not perfect code, maybe, but it gives the engineers a huge starting point, reduces that back and forth.
Okay, the speed gain on the design side seems undeniable. But let's switch gears to user research. This feels trickier. We're talking about humans, empathy, context, nuance. How is AI impacting that world if speed is still the driver?
Well, the biggest impact here is definitely scale, but specifically the speed of synthesis. Think about it traditionally. Analyzing research meant days, maybe weeks, wading through interview transcripts, grouping themes, figuring out sentiment.
Yeah, the analysis bottleneck.
Exactly. Now, AI can chew through enormous amounts of qualitative and quantitative data and structure it in, like, minutes, which means the researcher isn't bogged down in transcription. They can actually focus on the meaning, the interpretation.
That sounds like a huge productivity boost. What does that actually look like in practice? What tools are doing this?
It's getting baked right into the research platforms. Tools like Great Question AI or Maze, for example, they'll do the automatic transcription, sure, but also sentiment analysis, automatic theme clustering. Some can even generate highlight reels from your interviews almost immediately.
Highlight reels. Okay, that's useful for sharing with stakeholders quickly.
Yeah, makes the insights much more digestible.
But what about validating those insights? As a researcher, you always need to be able to point back to the source, right?
Mhm.
Defend your findings.
Crucial point. And the good platforms maintain that traceability. Every quote, every theme the AI surfaces, it links directly back to the original transcript, the timestamp. You absolutely need that human oversight to check the AI's work.
Okay. And you mentioned AI moderation earlier, like a smarter survey.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't AI actually running user interviews now?
Not really replacing deep contextual interviews, no, but
Okay.
it's definitely disrupting the standard survey. Think of it like this. An AI moderator can work asynchronously, asking follow-up questions that adapt based on the participant's last answer.
Ah, okay. So it can dig a bit deeper than a static form.
Right. It gives you some of that qualitative why, but at a quantitative scale. You can potentially get richer insights from hundreds of people, maybe across different languages, in the time it used to take to do maybe 20 one-on-one interviews.
I get the efficiency argument, definitely. Yeah. But here's where I get a little skeptical. If the AI is built to find patterns and cluster data efficiently, doesn't that mean it's probably going to favor the majority view? And often, as researchers, we're looking for those weird outliers, right? The bunny ears that don't fit the pattern but might signal real innovation. Is the AI going to just smooth those over?
That's precisely the risk. It's the big caveat here, the nuance problem. AI is a fantastic complement, but when it analyzes qualitative stuff, it does tend to steer towards a kind of, well, a homogeneous narrative. It might unintentionally ignore or downplay those diverse, surprising takes because they don't fit neatly into the main clusters.
So we could end up designing for the average user if we just take the AI summary at face value. How do you then justify spending time digging for that one unique insight, that bunny ear, if the AI says 80% of people want something else?
You justify it because that's often where the breakthrough ideas live, in those edge cases. The human researcher's job, now more than ever, is to specifically hunt for what the AI might have missed, compare it against the business goals, and make a judgment call. Is this outlier just noise, or is it a potential goldmine? The AI gives you the map, maybe, but the human finds the treasure.
And that applies to things like synthetic users too, I guess.
Oh, absolutely. Synthetic users or personas, they're useful, great for stress testing your research plan, maybe sparking some ideas, but they absolutely cannot replace talking to real humans with real lives and contexts. Not even close.
Okay, this conversation is naturally leading us from speed and scale towards risk. And that lands us squarely on ethics. If AI boosts our abilities so much, it must also boost the potential fallout from ethical mistakes, right?
Without a doubt. Ethics isn't a nice-to-have anymore. It's foundational. It's a core design skill. And the goal, really, is to design systems where the user develops what we call calibrated trust.
Calibrated trust. Okay, break that down. What's the psychology behind that? What are designers now responsible for building?
Well, psychologically, trust generally rests on four main pillars. First is ability competence. Does the user actually believe the AI can do its job accurately? If your chatbot starts making things up, hallucinating, as they call it, that trust disappears instantly.
Okay, so basic competence is table stakes. What's next?
Second is benevolence. This one's huge. Does the user feel the AI is acting in their best interest? Or do they suspect it's subtly trying to manipulate them? Maybe push sponsored content or keep them hooked longer than they want?
Yeah, it's a tricky line, especially when business goals are involved.
It is, and it connects to the third pillar, integrity. Does the AI seem to operate on fair, predictable, ethical principles? Is it honest? If it suddenly gives biased results or seems unfair, that integrity is shot.
Okay, ability, benevolence, integrity. What's the fourth?
Predictability or reliability. Can the user actually form a stable mental model of how this AI is going to behave? If you ask it the same thing twice and get wildly different responses, you can't rely on it. It feels unstable.
So calibrated trust means hitting that sweet spot. We don't want users to completely distrust the AI, obviously, but the bigger danger might be over-trusting it.
That's the real hazard zone, blindly accepting whatever the AI spits out. We saw that crazy case, right? Lawyers submitting court documents with totally fabricated legal precedents that an LLM just made up. Calibrated trust means the user gets it. They understand the AI's strengths and its weaknesses. They know when it's likely reliable and when they need to double-check its work.
But who's really responsible in that lawyer example?
Yeah.
I mean, if the tool is sold as a research aid, Is it the designer's fault for not building in enough warnings, or the lawyer's fault for not verifying? Where does that burden lie?
That's the million-dollar question regulators are grappling with right now, but ethically. A lot of that burden has to fall on us as designers and researchers. We have to design with transparency baked in. If we know an LLM sometimes hallucinates, we need clear labels, prompts for verification. We basically need to design interfaces that encourage healthy skepticism.
Okay, so what are the absolute must-do guidelines then? For transparency and consent, what does every UX pro need to be doing now?
Okay, first, for research. Transparency is non-negotiable. If you use generative AI in any substantial way for your analysis or reports, you have to disclose it. Meaning, you name the tool, the version, when you used it, and specifically how it shaped the process. Like, you'd write, AI helped cluster initial themes, but human analysis drove the final insights. Be specific.
Got it. And on the participant privacy side?
That's privacy by design thinking. You need to update your consent forms. Explicitly state that AI might be used to analyze their data, and crucially, give people options, variable consent. Let them opt in or opt out of specific AI uses.
And the big one?
The big one. You absolutely must ensure participant data isn't being fed back to train the big commercial LLMs without their explicit informed permission. That's a huge ethical line.
Wow. Okay, this entire shift, it's clearly demanding a much higher level of strategic thinking. If AI is handling more of the basic design and analysis legwork, what skills become absolutely essential for the human professional? What keeps us indispensable?
Well, that high-level strategic thinking, that's basically the new baseline, and the most immediate practical skill everyone needs: prompt engineering.
Right. That's the term we keep hearing, learning how to talk to the machine effectively.
Exactly. Don't think of the AI as just a tool. Think of it like a very powerful, very literal-minded intern.
Oh.
If you give it a vague one-sentence instruction, you'll get garbage back. You have to learn to structure your prompts effectively, give it context, define a persona for it to adopt, provide a template for the output. There are techniques, prompt decks, set scene, chain of thought prompting that force the AI to reason step by step. Mastering these dramatically improves the quality you get back.
So less pixel pushing, more directing and curating.
That's it exactly. And that curation piece, that relies on the uniquely human skills. The professionals who thrive will be the ones who excel at critical thinking, creativity, and frankly, taste.
Taste, interesting.
Yeah, the ability to look at the 10 options the AI generates and know which one is strategically right, which one looks and feels better, which one is ethically sound. The AI provides options. Your judgment, your taste makes the final call. And you have to be able to veto the AI sometimes.
It sounds like all those soft skills we used to talk about are suddenly becoming hard requirements.
They're becoming paramount. Communication is huge. Can you build relationships with stakeholders who don't understand AI? Can you explain complex UX insights simply? If you can't bridge that gap, your work gets lost.
And that connects to business understanding too.
Directly. Business acumen. Finding that sweet spot, sometimes it's a messy compromise between what users need and what the business needs to achieve. AI won't figure that out for you.
So we need people who are willing to be, well, those unicorns again, expanding beyond just core UX skills.
I think so. You need to lean into related areas, systems thinking, maybe basic data modeling, definitely business strategy. And critically, you need a deep understanding of how machine learning actually works, including its built-in limitations. You need to know why the AI fails sometimes, not just how to use it when it works.
Okay, so wrapping this up, this deep dive really shows AI isn't replacing UX, but it is transforming it. It's an incredible amplifier for speed and capability.
But it demands way more from us in terms of strategy, ethics, transparency, and that high-level human judgment.
The UX reckoning is maybe less about jobs disappearing and more about the job itself evolving upwards.
Yeah, the era of just being a tactical UX generalist might be fading. But the age of the strategic, ethically minded UX leader, that feels like it's just getting started.
Absolutely. Now, as we finish, there's one more angle to this whole AI ethics discussion we haven't really touched on, and it's important. We've talked a lot about the ethics in the product, but what about the ethics of the product's existence?
Yeah.
I mean, the environmental costs.
Yeah. The energy consumption. It's massive for training and running these large models.
Right. We get excited about the efficiency gains AI tools offer our teams, which is great. But all that computing power, especially for the big LLMs everyone's using, takes a ton of energy. There's a real environmental footprint there that we don't often talk about.
It's true. The computational cost is enormous, and it's usually invisible when we're just picking a tool for a task.
So here's the final thought we want to leave you with. As you embrace these powerful AI tools, are you also thinking about their environmental impact? Are you asking your tool providers about sustainability? And maybe the toughest question, does the actual strategic value you get from using a specific AI tool truly justify its total energy cost?
That's a really complex calculation.
It is. And it's another layer of ethical consideration that going forward, every strategic UX professional probably needs to start factoring into their decisions. Something to think about.